Hey guys, happy Thursday. I hope everybody is doing well. Today we're going to talk about no contact situations. So, whether it's no contact or whether you are even blocked, which would also mean no contact, obviously. So, whatever no contact means for your situation. No contact situations are obviously quite challenging. But I definitely want to emphasize that just because somebody is in contact, it doesn't mean they have an easier situation necessarily, because they can still be extremely hard situations. So, in general, every single situation where you seek the help of magic will be hard. Hard or extremely hard, basically. Those are the only two levels we have here. And the hard ones we called easier ones because we also have the extra hard ones here. So, um, no contact situations, usually, if it's been no contact for a longer period of time, so I don't know, months, years, even, some people they want to bring back exes with whom they haven't been in contact for years. And if that is your situation, we will need to start with a reading. And I actually had two people today on consultations, and they had no contact for a really long period of time, and they like have no idea what their person is thinking, feeling, what's going on with them. And obviously, I have suggested doing a reading because basically uh, I need to see what they're thinking and feeling so I can see which spells could work, or if, maybe they have moved on and we can't do anything, or, it would be um, extremely hard to do something. And basically, what I'm trying to say is if you have a situation where you don't know, even if you're in contact, doesn't matter, where you're really confused about how your person feels and thinks. And some people will know this really well, some people will like really well understand what's going on, will describe it to me really well, and then we will not necessarily need to start with a reading. But if it's like no contact for a long time, I always recommend it because you already know why. I have said it a million times. And that is kind of the starting point, and sometimes the ending point as well to those situations. But basically, usually, not always, but usually, if you're not in contact with somebody for a really long time, it, our work will be quite difficult. And the reason why is because when you are in no kind of contact with the person and you don't see them and you don't talk to them and there's like, nothing of them, the energy bonds are getting weak. The energy bonds are getting weak. And if it has been years, they will be quite weak. That doesn't mean that we can't do anything. I want to emphasize that. We can absolutely try, but you will have a less chance of it working, obviously, and you will always be informed of that. So it will be up to you whether you will go with the process or not. But it's not usually impossible. And the reason why it's not impossible, even if the energy bonds are weak, is because we can do all kinds of stuff with magic if we use the right spells. So, in general, and this is something I have discussed lately with my own example, if you haven't seen the person for like ages and you haven't talked to them for, you know, years, most likely if they're getting pushes and starting to think of you, yeah, some of them will reach out. Absolutely, it can happen. But the majority of them, speaking from 20 plus years experience, guys, majority of them, will find it like, oh, this is a lovely memory of this person. And, they're gonna have those thoughts, but they're going to see them as lovely memories. They will not go for contact because they will be like, this is ancient history, and yeah, they will daydream and things like that, but they will not go for contact, majority of them, just from those thoughts. So what we can do is the spell can try to bring you together somehow. Now, a lot of people will say, but what if we are long distance, if we are not living nearby? It can still happen in a way that, you can reconnect through friends. It doesn't have to be in person, it can be in various things. And, magic is just magical. I can't tell you exact how it can happen, but it doesn't have to be that you find yourself at the same place at the same time. There is a variety of ways that it can happen, especially in today's day and age. You may run into them, they may run into you on a social media, on a dating app. There's so many options, right? Friends, family, whatever, work, so many options. So usually that is when we will go for that. What is extremely important in situations like this, when it's like extremely hard, let's say it's been years, it's extremely important to follow the instructions really well. It's always important to follow the instructions really well, by the way, every time. But in extremely hard situations, it's going to be more important. So, working on yourself, focusing on yourself, always important, right? But then also understanding what is possible, opening yourself up is going to be important in situations like this where they're really hard. Usually it doesn't really matter much, but in these situations it will. Usually you will need a reprogramming audio of some kind, which can be really helpful. You will need more spell work throughout time, not all at once, but basically what we do is we can do what's needed to be done and then see if we get any movement. We will wait for a period of time, obviously, and if we don't, if you still want to try something else, we can. Or if we get some movement but it's like something small, we can push for more. So basically, it's very important to stay in contact and inform me of movements or no movements. Also, your mood and your limiting beliefs, which you may not be aware of, but I will see them just by talking with you. Also, you will definitely need to be patient because this will not be a quick fix. Really hard. I mean, yes, magic can sometimes be a quick fix, even with tough situations, but with extremely hard, it will not be a quick fix almost ever. So you will need to be patient. You will need to understand that this is going to be a process. And I definitely advise, if you are feeling anxious, if you have anxious attachment or any kind of anxiety around it, that you will need to work on that and learn to control your emotions. Uncontrolled mind is your biggest enemy, and that is absolutely true. Yes, we can't always control our mind, and yes, we all go through all kinds of emotions through the day, but and that's fine, that's normal, and we need to feel all the emotions, don't get me wrong, but we are the ones that kind of choose where we're going to stay and what we're going to focus on. And we can always focus on the positive things. And there is so many positive things in life in general and around you in general. If you don't see any positive things, that means that you're victim mentality, because it's absolutely impossible that nothing around you is positive. Impossible. Also, it's impossible that everything around you is positive as well, obviously, but it's just a matter of focus. So you're just gonna need to be way more diligent with your vibrational work, and definitely patient. And I know that sucks, but patience is a skill that you will master probably during that process. And then it's going to come convenient in life in general, because we all tend to be impatient, and patience is such a virtue. and you're going to see how much it's going to make your life easier. So, no contact situations are not impossible situations. Yes, they're challenging, and yes, they are extremely hard, especially if no contact has been going for years, then it's like really difficult. But it is not something that cannot be done. I also think that, like I said, in the readings, we do check if your person has moved on, which basically moving on does not necessarily mean that they are not single. So even if they're single, they can be over you. It just, people often think if somebody is single or if somebody becomes single, they're just gonna go and find you, which is usually not the case. So yeah, sure, if you use magic, and yeah, sure, sometimes, but in majority of the cases, somebody breaks up with someone, they don't go back to their ex before that. They go forward, right? And probably you have the same experiences. So that is a wrong way of thinking, because people tend to be overly focused. If someone is in another relationship, people tend to be overly focused on the third person, and they think, oh, if I can just get rid of this person, this ex of mine would be mine. And that is usually not the case. Okay, so just breaking somebody up does not guarantee that they are gonna end up with you at all. So this is where people go wrong, because they get focused on the third person instead of the bond between them and the ex, which is the most important thing. The third person is the least of your worries, believe me, because with them or without them, if your person has moved on from you, they will not be interested, and it doesn't matter whether they are with someone or not. They can still be not over you and be with someone, and they can be single and be over you. So if we see in a reading that they are over you, usually you will get a negative response. Now, I will say that even then, it's not entirely impossible, because yes, people can change their mind. Yes, we can somehow arrange something where they could again start developing feelings or interest. Absolutely, but it would be extremely difficult again, and it would take time. So you will be advised to move on, because it's just a much easier option. But if you insist, we're gonna see your situation and your options depending obviously on the situation. Not all situations are equal, and that's important to mention. Everybody's person is different, everybody's situation is different, so it is extremely difficult to generalize about these things. But I guess the point is that nothing is impossible. Almost nothing is impossible entirely, but some things really take time and patience and dedication, and that is something that majority of the people don't want to do, and I understand that. I do. So it's very important, if you go into it and you have an extremely hard situation, that you do the hard work, that you take the time, be patient, because you want to do the most of magic. You want to use it the most you can. You want to definitely make sure you get the best possible results you can. So that would be my recommendation. Do not waste magic, guys, because your vibration is important and it goes along with magic. So do not waste it, because it's magical, it's beautiful, it can bring you so much joy. And that's why it exists, to bring you joy, to make your life easier, more pleasant, all of those things. So magic is beautiful. Don't waste it, use it. And to really use it, you need to follow the instructions, because they're a part of it. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, about situations or things where you think that others would like to hear about it as well, you can always let me know. I can always make an audio. I think this is a very popular subject, the no contact situations. And again, the blocked situations go along with this topic because obviously, if you're blocked, you are also in no contact. They are obviously slightly more difficult than the no contact. Usually, again, not necessarily, depends. And, anyways, like I said, I hope this helps. Bye.